Hello, good evening, everyone. We're ready to continue with Ace Attorney Investigations 2. So last time, we've made a few breakthrough discoveries as to Knightley's murder. We still a lot we don't know yet. We're narrowing things down. At first we thought that Dogan was the killer, that he ordered his dog to attack him. But it's starting to look like maybe that's not the case. Then possibly Elbird killed him during his attempted prison break, but we're still not sure as to the how and when Knightley was killed. We've seen Edgeworth and Judge Courtney with some theories, but we haven't nailed anything down yet. So hopefully in this chapter we're going to finish case 2. The Courtyard. Depending on what we find here, the entire incident could become clear. However, there's nothing left here. Yesterday. Isn't there one more possibility? The well in the courtyard. It's possible the body was dropped down from there. In other words, the body being dropped down the well and then moved to the workroom. Could only have been done during the show. And the only one who could have done it is Simon Keyes. Was the body dropped down the well or not? This could be the decisive clue that we need to reach the truth of the matter. Before I continue with the investigation, I should organize my evidence. Alright. Let's see here. Hey, there's a grate here. Yeah, I noticed that too, and I believe it had a padlock on it too. I don't see how Simon could have unlocked it. The well has run dry after all. They can put a lock on it. Lockpicking is one of my specialties. Wanna see? There's absolutely no need for you to show off. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Whoa! What happened, Kay? The lock is broken. Judging from the looks of it. Oh, so... It feels like it was broken some time ago. Okay, scratch that. He could have opened it. So the lock was broken. This means anyone could have dropped the body down this well. According to Judge Courtney's reasoning, Mr. Keyes murdered Knightley in the courtyard. And then, during the show, he disposed of the body in the well. You think so? Did he really use the well to move the body? I know. Let's get Missile to help us out again. He should be able to track down the scent of the body. Good idea. Let me contact Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe here. Detective, I have a favor to ask of you. We would like you to bring Missile to the prison courtyard. Sounds like you need the help of one of my 7 secret weapons again, huh, sir? I thought Missile belonged to the police department. And also, I would like for you to contact a witness. Please contact Regina Berry of the Very Big Circus and bring her here. Roger that, sir. I'll bring him over in a flash. What more might she have for us? So what do you think we should do while we wait for Gummy? How about some hide and seek? What are you talking about, Kay? There's nowhere to hide here. I don't think that's the issue. Kay, during times like this, isn't it your turn to shine? Oh, that! You want me to recreate the crime scene. Ah, yes. That little gadget of hers. See for yourself. The great thief's secret weapon, Little Thief. Whoa, what's that? Screens floating in midair? Just what are you doing, Kay? I'm entering the information needed for the simulation. Mr. Shields, this Little Thief is a tool that can recreate a crime scene based on the information it's given. Should I set it for how this place looked like when we came here yesterday? Yes, I believe they were in the middle of taking down the set. You didn't pay enough attention to the well, so it's possible we may have missed a clue. Leave it to me. I took a picture of the place too. Yeah, I remember there was a weight and some pulleys there as well. There, and there. Data entry complete. Now to set the projection to maximum output. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. What? What just happened? I recreated the Courtyard from yesterday based on the information I entered. This was a tool the previous Yatagarasu used. It's a device to run simulations to practice stealing things. But used in this manner, we can inspect the crime scene as it was in the past. Oh, but it's still only a recreation based on what information we have. I can't recreate what I don't have information for, and if my information is incorrect, the recreation could come out strange too. In this case, since Kay had the photo, there should be no problems. Now, let's begin the investigation. Since it's a recreation, you can examine things just like you always do. You can even present evidence when you find a contradiction. Yes, I know. First, I should start with that well. Let's examine the area around the well. It holds the key to this case. There are some pulleys here. They don't appear the pulley that was used to lift the bucket from the well. There's nothing unusual about this area. Really? Those are the same blankets that were used when that the body was covered with from the workroom. It's a sturdy hemp rope. Looks like the rope they use for tug of wars. I'm not gonna play tug of war with you. I didn't even say anything yet. There's a metal stake attached to the end of the rope. Ah, you use these to pin down the tent when you go camping. Doesn't seem like they need this for the performance. Wonder what it was used for. is of metal weight. It weighs... It's hard to see in the recreation. Kay, do you remember? I think it was 33 pounds. Wonder what such a heavy thing was used for. Doesn't seem to be directly related to the circus. The well was behind the stage. That means only a few people would have access to dump the body in the well during the performance. This isn't looking good for Mr. Keys. These things around the well, what are they used for? They don't seem to be related to the animal show. I agree. We can ask Miss Berry about it later. These were used for audience seating during the show. Folding up all those chairs must have been a chore. Is that so? Don't tell me you've never tidied up folding chairs before. I've delegated tasks to others in the past. Mr. Edgeworth, you should try doing some manual labor once in a while. I'll look into it. This is the stage where they put on the animal show. If I put on a Great Thief show, I wonder if anyone would come. I'm pretty sure the police would show up. A Great Thief's secret weapon. I see. But isn't this bad, using a thief's tool to aid the investigation? Don't make such a scary face. It's alright. Uncle Ray's lips are sealed. It's for the truth, right? The evidence may very well already have been destroyed. In order to recreate the crime scene, we need her help. Why so serious? Times like this, a simple smile will suffice. Yes, thank you very much. This crate. No, there are tires attached to it, so I guess it's a cart. Oh, this is the same dialogue as before. What was the elephant's name again? She has Tisk, the Asian elephant. I wondered if they made kind of a big deal out of it before, so I wondered if the elephant's gonna play a part in this. Maybe the elephant's the killer. Ah, that's right, it's an easy name to remember. Maybe. They couldn't think of a good name, so they gave her a name that's easy to remember. Mr. Edgeworth, what a terrible thing to say about poor Estique. That's all the information we can gather for now. The detective should be here soon, too. Okay, go ahead and shut down Little Thief. Alright, returning the area to normal. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Hey, speak of the gummy. Detective Gumshoe, that was quick. Couldn't keep you waiting for too long, sir. Thanks for coming along too, Regina. Yes, always a pleasure. No problem, it sounded like fun, so I skipped practice to come here. Thank you for your cooperation. First, Detective, let's have Missile do some tracking. No problem, sir. Hey, Missile, over here, pal. Hey, what's eating you, pal? I said over here. Oh. What's the matter? Looks like he's scared of something, sir. Oh, the alligator. Ah! Alligator! Guess he's scared of the alligator, sir. Good grief, looks like Missile won't be much help to us. So what should we do, Miles? Maybe we can ask Miss Berry for help. What is it? What is it? Is there something I can do? Do you want me to teach Allie a trick? Actually, she probably could. No, I just need you to tell me about the condition of the courtyard during the show. Looks like it's my time to shine again. Yes, if you please. Oh, we're gonna put it right back up again? Alright, that should do it. Starting the recreation now. Oh, I see, the condition during the show. This time you can see how the courtyard was during the animal show. This should be around the time the body was dropped down the well. Okay, and hopefully Regina can corroborate some of this. Wow, cool, it's just like magic. Hey, it's not magic. I just recreated the scene based on the information you gave us. See, look over there. Wait, during the show, 8 a.m. The backstage area is missing. Well, Regina didn't help with the preparations, so she doesn't really know how it was set up. I get it. You can't recreate what you don't have the info for, huh? I'm sorry. It's because Simon took care of setting everything up. Don't worry yourself none, Regina Pie. Miles is the one at fault here. What? Why me? Mr. Edgeworth, I've recreated the show in progress. But I can also change it to how it was earlier when it was being taken down. I see, so we can examine the courtyard during the show and after the show. We can freely switch between the two different states. Okay. Now, let's begin the investigation. A love story between an elephant and a tiger. I really wanted to see that. I also wanted to see Simon in action. Simon is really amazing, especially the part where he gets blown away. Blown away, that's the scene in question. At that point, the suspect, in the role of the villain, is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit. After being blown away, the suspect disappeared from the stage. Are you saying the crime was committed during that time? Do you know how long he was gone from the stage? Let me think. About 15 minutes or so. Just as Judge Courtney said. But isn't it dangerous to be blown away by an elephant? It's alright. Estique is very gentle. That's not who we're worried about here. During the first few practices, he was having trouble getting blown away. Then, all of a sudden, he was able to be sent flying beautifully. He might be using some sort of device, but it's amazing. Device? A device? Do you know anything about it? I have no idea. Simon handled it all by himself. Oh, maybe that's what the Maybe that's what the rope and pulleys were for. It's the cage of the Asian elephant, Mystique. The elephant is performing on stage right now, so the cage is empty. I wonder how Mystique entered the courtyard. What do you mean, how? The entrance here is human-sized. And this fence is electrified. I don't think an elephant would enter from there. They could just turn off the electricity. Yeah, probably through that gate. If they did that, all the inmates would escape. I doubt anyone would escape while an elephant was entering. I wonder how she came in. This requires some thought. She seems to be enjoying her little brain teaser. I should just let her be. What's this in the card? Oh, this crate was empty in the recreation earlier. That's right. It was also empty in the picture I took. Oh, I'm sorry. That information is wrong. What do you mean? This crate contained Mystique's food. In the morning on the day of the show, all the apples were gone. I totally forgot about that. I'm sorry. Missing apples, huh? Should make a note of it. Change there. Okay, you say the same thing. These chairs are lined up in an orderly fashion. I guess there were a few empty seats during the performance. Oh, that's right, because there were... Oh, right, we know Elbert was the third one who was absent. This intimate atmosphere and the closeness between the stage and the audience. It reminds me of the karaoke tournament I entered when I was a kid. Karaoke tournament. I was the runner-up. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now listen to the song of a real modern-day Robin Hood. So basically, just your catchphrase, essentially. Don't tell me you actually sang that song. Of course, this song rocks! I'm surprised she actually made it to the finals. Did she steal second place? No, she didn't steal first place. She must have gotten there fair and square. Mr. Edgeworth, you got that look on your face. Like you want to use my secret weapon, sir? Missile isn't in the mood. Missile isn't in the mood, but I got my fishing rod ready to go. Or would you prefer the metal detector? Oh. I've never seen the detective's eyes sparkle like that. If need be, I'll let you know. For now, just stand by. Okay. Do you come here often, Regina? Yes, I have many friends here. I love this place. New friends, old friends, everyone's a friend here. Yesterday, Miss Warden introduced me to a new friend, Little Allie. The alligator who lurks in the pond in the courtyard. That pond. If you get too close, it feels like you'll get gulped. I don't think Little Allie would do such a thing. Her stomach wasn't feeling very well yesterday. I'm worried. Aren't you all worried too? Right? Yes, of course. We're all worried, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Um, don't drag me into this. Huh, was the alligator fed something? This pond is where Warden Roland keeps her pet alligator. I guess those fish bones are the remains of her last meal. I don't think an alligator would leave such clean bones. But she had a very refined-looking face. I couldn't tell at all. That's because I'm a girl who's good with faces. Why don't I feel the least bit jealous? Okay, let's see what we got here. We got... Okay, first off, I think... this is probably how he did that trick. Mr. Keyes used a device for his stunt. Maybe the tools around the well are connected to this. Okay, I'd like to recheck the tools lying around the well yesterday. Can you change the recreation to the after the show scene? Roger. The tools lying around the well. Could they have been a part of this device? It seems very likely. I wonder if it's possible to recreate the device. If you ask Mr. Keyes, he should be able to tell you how the device was put together. Alright, I'll go ask him. Mr. Edgeworth, I asked him about it. And did you find out how the device works? He used a rope to hang some weights on the well's pulley. The weights were suspended inside the well. Then he ran the rope through two more pulleys and tied the end of the rope to his own body. So he uses the force of the falling weights to send himself flying. But what's to stop the weights from falling on their own? In order to prevent that from happening, he used a stopper. Stopper. Miss Berry didn't know anything about the well. That means... Mr. Keyes removed the stopper by himself? Correct. That's why a second rope was needed. Oh, that must be the stake. And it was wrapped, the rope was wrapped around that. This rope was attached to the stopper, and when it was pulled from the stage, the stopper would be removed, and the weights would drop down the well. I'm definitely going to steal this idea. The Yatagarasa won't lose to something like this. Don't waste your time. Circus acts require extensive training. Even if you steal the device, it won't do you any good. Then I'll train as well. Before you start training, could you first update the recreation? Oh yeah, you wanted me to recreate the device that was used in the performance. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Next, I'll input the information of the device on the well. Now we can recreate the device Simon made. So this is the device that Mr. Key used. Simon sure is gutsier than he looks. Using the falling weights is the force to launch himself during his performance. Indeed, he would have to drop enough weights to exceed his own body weight. Wait, in order to provide the strength needed to pull him off the stage. Wait, would a 33-pound weight be enough? Simon must have practiced a lot for this. Huh, isn't this strange? What's wrong, pal? Haven't you noticed, Detective? What's strange about this weight is... it's not heavy enough. In order to pull up Mr. Key's body weight... You're right, sir! But where did the rest of the weights disappear to? Looks like it's time to use my 7th secret weapon, sir! If necessary, I'll let the detective know. Okay, what about the metal detector? Detective Gumshoe, it's time for your secret weapon. Yes, sir! The fishing pole. I was hoping for the metal detector. I don't get many chances to use this one. Before we begin the search, let me go over how to use the metal detector, sir. This metal detector uses sound. And this meter is to let you know how close you are to a metal object. When you get closer to a metal object, the metal detector will have a bigger reaction, like this. When you get the biggest reaction, give me the order to examine that spot, sir. Let's see what we got. It's just the metal fence. And that's basically how you search for metal objects. Just give me the instructions on where you want to search, sir. Yeah, there's a reaction here too, sir. Let's check it out. Huh? Found these in the clumps of grass here, sir. Oh, another. Those are the weights used for that hoisting device. Were these intentionally hidden? There's 4 of them in all, sir. That many weights would be enough to lift Simon. So, the other weights that were used in the device were hidden. Why were they hidden over here, though? See, I'm really earning my keep today, aren't I, sir? Ah! Gator's back. Ah, the alligator! That scared me, pal! Huh? What's the matter, Detective? Looks like the metal detector's reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Are you sure it isn't still just reacting to the weights? It's a different reaction, sir. And it's definitely coming from the alligator. gone. Did somebody feed something metallic to the alligator? Looks like it's scared of us. I don't think so, Kay. Huh? If anything, I think Allie looks a little under the weather. Allie, I suppose that was what Warden Roland called it. She didn't eat any of the food that the warden gave her yesterday. I think she might have eaten something bad. So I guess the metal detector could be reacting to whatever the alligator ate. Oh, maybe she ate one of the weights. I doubt that even an alligator can ingest a 33-pound weight. But what could the metal detector be reacting to? Regardless, why were these weights hidden? Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well. Okay, I'd like you to recreate the after the show scene again. Alright, leave it to me. Did somebody tie the body to the device? Rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Oh. This rope was part of the device used during the show. To be able to create a device with just one piece of rope. Oh, there's only one rope there. Simon is surprisingly handy. One piece of rope. Seems there's a contradiction with this evidence. There's the rope. I thought we found a piece of rope with the body. This piece of evidence shows the contradiction with the crime scene. Could you be more precise about where the contradiction is? I'd also like to hear you explain in more detail, sir. Around here somewhere. Wait, what? Oh, is that what we were supposed to... This piece of evidence shows the contradiction with the crime scene. Precise. What? This isn't right? What about this? Okay, that must be it. This recreation and the device we saw earlier. There's a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing. You're right. Without it, the device won't work. I wonder what happened to it. Where did the missing rope disappear to? It's possible that we hold the piece of evidence that shows where the rope went. Huh?
Take that!
The rope we found with the dead body. Ah, could it be? Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here. Then does that mean this rope was attached to the weight? However, the weight was not one of these metal weights. These weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something else. If they were replaced, then what was used as the weight? What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? If we can recall that, then the answer should be clear. Okay, that was the body. Oh, and it said there were small bruises on his head. Okay, so that would explain where that came from.
Take that!
What dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body. Huh? Mr. Knightley's body was used as the weight? Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keyes used the device to launch himself off the stage. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go. Both the body and the rope dropped down the well. This looks really bad for... This actually looks worse for Simon now, because who else but him could have... prepared this. The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley. It was used to suspend him inside the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden. Oh, but if it was him, why would he need to hide the weights? Ah, so no one would find out the weights were replaced with the body. Right. Yes, the killer was the one who hid those weights. But Miles, wasn't Knightley Boy stabbed in the neck with a murder weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well? The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item. Oh. He was wrapped in the sheet.
Take that!
The sheet we found near the body. It was used to wrap up the body. I see. It looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, eh? But this means the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer? No, that's not necessarily the case. Huh? But yesterday, Judge Courtney said... If Mr. Keyes was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborate device? True, he could have just dumped the body down the well beforehand. I guess you have a point. Mr. Keyes was only responsible for dropping the body during the show. In other words, it doesn't matter where the real killer was, or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed the doubt on the people who didn't watch the animal show. Oh, so now our list of suspects. It's true, we also suspected Mr. Dogan. The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used the device on the well to create a fake alibi. Ms. Berry, do you know when this device on the well was set up? Let me think. The day before the show. I think it was at night. We all started preparing at 9 p.m. We finished it around midnight. The killer replaced the weights with a dead body afterward. Did Dogan know about the device? No. Even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. Can't teach a dog to suspend a body in a well. In other words, Dogan is not the killer. Then what about that cart? Is this... The apples in the crate were probably eaten by Astique. But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach from Astique's nose. Are you certain? Yes, the crate was still full of apples on the night before the show. Then the cart was moved to where her nose could reach it. With that many apples, it couldn't have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Prior to the show, the cart's position was already changed, and the apples were all eaten. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, Kate. Alright, I'll use the new info to recreate the scene. First, let's return to during the show. Using the info we got from Regina, I'll recreate the scene with the card in its actual place. Recreation complete. So that means both were moved during the show. Or before the show. Yeah. This cart was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show. I don't think it was just a coincidence. Keeping that in mind, the question now becomes, why was the cart moved? The cart used to be in front of that door. Ah, yes. We weren't able to see what's in there yet. I I can think of one reason why. The killer needed to get in there. Somebody open that door. Alright, let's hurry up and... The door's locked. Let's ask the guard. Hey, Mr. Guard. Yes, what is it? That was fast. You there. Where's the key to this door? The warden's in charge of it. I'll get it from her right away. The warden is in charge of the keys here. Without the warden's permission, this door can't be opened. Thank you very much. Circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room. On the night before the show, somebody came into this room. I wonder why they would come in here. I don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely to operate the circuit breakers. So someone came here to shut off the power to something? Was there anything that had its power shut off? Ah, yes. There was the security camera in the detention center. Is this...
Take that!
Security camera footage had a 3-hour gap. Oh, I see. The circuit breaker for the security camera was tripped. It's highly possible. Was this the killer's handiwork? With the camera down, it would be easier to move about. The killer would have a major advantage. I knew it! If that's the case... Okay, now we're getting somewhere. And we might actually have a new suspect in mind, but we'll see where this takes us in just a few minutes. Alright, we're back. So, how does this unfold now? The killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room. It couldn't be. Deactivating the recreation. Oh, you again. I'm first to the scene, as always. No you're not. Good morning, Mr. DeBest. What? You? How did you get here before me? Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you've arrived early. Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney. I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste. Unlike a certain prosecutor who was taken off the case. Oh, my apologies. I had forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. An assistant can never be the best. You have fallen like the rest. You just say whatever you like, don't you? Let us begin our examination of the courtyard, Sebastian. All right, I'll call the men over.
Hold it!
That'll be unnecessary. What? We have already finished the investigation of the courtyard. You've been bested. Bested? Me? Judge Courtney. Your reasoning from yesterday. Watch me shatter it to pieces. I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands? I've had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that doesn't involve my badge?
Overruled!
Despite my repeated warnings, you show no signs of reflection. It seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked.
Objection!
Neither the fate of my badge nor the actions of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Key's innocence? That's all that concerns me. Your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you're willing to go that far, then I'll show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this. You know, I was thinking this before, and I'm still thinking it now. You know, you're a judge. Aren't you supposed to be neutral in these sorts of things? Then again, we already know that in this in this world the courts are pretty corrupt. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Elber did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Except now we know otherwise. Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning. Of course she does. Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report. Babysitting that kid must be difficult. The time of death was the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the day before the show. The cause of death remains unchanged, a stab wound 4 inches deep. Between 3 and 6 a.m. Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well. She's not investigated the courtyard yet. That means... Seems there's a hole in your argument. You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim? Of course I can, and I will. Not see the body when he passed through the tunnel. Drug while during the show. Hack is the suspect. Not so.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There is a device set up around the well here. What is this device of which you speak? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keyes is blown away by the elephant during the show? I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage. He tied one end of a length of rope to himself, and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well.
Objection!
Wouldn't he have spent the whole play suspended up in the air?
Hold it!
That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device.
Objection!
But didn't Simon Keyes make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree?
Objection!
If Mr. Keyes were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Barry? Yes? Was there anyone else who knew of the device he set up? Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it. Like the warden. And there you have it.
Overruled!
I see. But if the warden is the killer, why would she want to kill Knightley? I see, you have indeed performed a thorough investigation. Unless there's somebody at the prison she wants to frame. I'll bet she wanted to frame Dogan. I'll bet. Because I know she's trying to get information out of, like, his ring of spies or whatever. Which is why I'm even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just? Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that, even now. Providing support to a defense attorney despite being a prosecutor. It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension doesn't matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy. Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keyes of murder. If the body came from the courtyard, how is Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of the crime. While Simon Keyes was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? Oh, that does seem pretty suspicious. Mr. Keyes was merely that kind of person. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it here. If that is possible, then it is also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong? Suppose I must refute her theory with evidence. Brought here from the detention center. Such an opportunity.
Hold it!
Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity? Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual.
Hold it!
Then wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keyes?
Overruled!
The warden has shown favor to the Very Big Circus. Simon Keyes is a circus member. Miss Berry's apprentice, no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility.
Objection!
It seems that you forgot to mention that.
Overruled!
The word forget does not exist in my dictionary. Then it would be prudent for you to add this to your argument. Mr. Keyes may have been the only person who could move around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in time missing from the surveillance records. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased. Yes.
Take that!
Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity. Who else could have had the opportunity? The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there was a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it. If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that it's possible? Right. It's possible if you had access to this.
Take that!
In this courtyard, we found the circuit breaker for the security camera. And it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder. What? Unfortunately, it appears you have fallen short of your intentions. Mr. Edgeworth hasn't fallen short of anything. So can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room? Oh yeah, that's right. It was locked, wasn't it? The warden hangs onto the key, right? The breaker room has great importance, even in a prison. There is no one who would be able to obtain the key so easily.
Objection!
There is one person. Well, I can think of someone. What did you say? This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that. Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too. Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust my logic is sound.
Take that!
The murderer is... Oh, speak of the devil. Warden Roland. Oh my, what an energetic little puppy. That's because this dog's extremely fond of sweets. Seems to detect a sweet scent on you. Just like what was... Okay. Oh heavens no, I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort. What the dog detects is the sweet scent of death. How poetic. However, does that not imply that I committed a murder? That's what I think. What? The warden is the murderer? Mr. Edgeworth, are you serious about your statement? How amusing. The very thought of a warden committing a murder. Sounds like something out of a mystery novel. Precisely. Your reasoning is in contempt.
Hold it!
Nothing of the sort. I didn't want to believe it myself, but based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Roland is the murderer.
Take that!
Is that? The smell gave you away. As you can plainly see, someone has taken notice. This police dog. He tracked a sweet smell that came from the body. And right now, he's telling us the same scent is also on Warden Roland. You're a cruel one to accuse me of murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling? It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have. Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it? The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If it were only one, it could have been seen as such. It appears we have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say. Indeed, until we do, we cannot close this case. Oh my goodness, everyone with such scary faces. So I'm the only one who could have been the murderer? That just cannot be. I heard all about the case from Justine darling here. Had I committed the murder, it wouldn't have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you'd like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. I don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure. I cannot be the killer. The missile barked at you, pal. You gotta be the culprit. Oh heavens, it's not possible. I already told you I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records? She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information. I do hope you understand, Mr. Edgeworth. The murder occurred inside the cell. How can you be so certain about that? Well, everywhere else would be under surveillance, right? And the victim's blood was found there too. That blood was actually from when he was struck by Elbert, but I don't think it's necessarily to inform her of this fact. That doesn't mean it's proven. You do know that. But I see no contradictions in assuming the crime scene was at the detention center.
Hold it!
You never went to the prison. You have proof of this. My, can't you wait for me to finish?
Hold it!
You were in your office the whole time. Nothing strange happened? Nope, nothing at all. Were you looking for something? I'm not too good at tidying up. I always forget where I put everything. The other day, I even lost track of an important piece of evidence. How could you have made such a grave error? If someone were to take something from me, I wouldn't even notice it the entire year. I guess it'll be hard to attack with the key to the breaker room. Yeah, if she could just say she lost it. On the day of the incident, I was working in my office and searching for lost items. In other words, I couldn't have gone to the prison, even if I wanted to. You did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route? Oh, I see. Because if we look at the floor plan... Okay, here's her office. And if she could have gone through the courtyard, if she turned off the electric fence there. Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists. It's my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. The route you used was from here.
Take that!
The barbed wire fence. You would have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you move through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel. I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence. Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. Yeah, but she had access to the breaker room and could have turned it off there. The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you're the only one who had the key, Warden Roland. Most amusing. However, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? She could have turned it off earlier that day. Ah, quite right. Gotcha there, Mr. Edgeworth. That's... If there is no record of her passing through the prison entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker. But Warden Roland was the only one who had access. Don't let this faze you, Miles. But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. Now, Uncle Ray never said, don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it, that's all. No matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Well, did she have an accomplice?
Objection!
I'm not amused. Interrupting my judgment only to be silent? Without thinking, I just blurted out objection. I have to answer. I won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet. So, how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center? It's perfectly possible with this method. What made it possible to turn off the breaker? Ooh, am I... Did she have an accomplice? It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two? Exactly, just what I expected from you, Miles. Yes, you had an accomplice on the prison side. Enough, I'm disappointed in you. Prosecutor Edgeworth. What's that, pal? Making fun of Mr. Edgeworth? The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. If they try and go where they please, they'll set off the alarm. So you've noticed. This is a prison, after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards, too, are under constant scrutiny. So why didn't anyone notice Elbird? The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker. But it's still possible that a person did it. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was?
Objection!
We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. Ooh, I think, yeah,
Take that!
Sod's bracelet was broken. That is, it looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners. This belongs to a certain model inmate, and it's broken. What? Just who on earth does this belong to? Frank saw it, the warden's favorite inmate. Oh. Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Maybe she disabled the bracelet for him instead. Golly, when you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard a guess that it was because he was a special case. Just like Sir Hendogan in the special cell. The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture.
Objection!
You could find out simply by asking Saw himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Saw and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. The real route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke. By having Saw it switch off the breakers in the breaker room. Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment? Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland? I give in. I confess. Warden Roland, no, this cannot be! Yes, it's just as he says. Frank Saw and I were partners in crime. Is she really gonna straight up admit it? No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth! Well done, Miles. At last we have the real culprit cornered. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker. But we were not responsible for Knightley's murder. What? Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, would the goddess of law hear my confession? The goddess of law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told. So who was threatening you? Sirhan Dogan, that assassin. Dogan? It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I'll never forget that day. When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me, I have many dogs outside the prison. Dogs? Loyal dogs who obey my every command. I soon realized that what Dogan referred to were not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said. You'd better watch how you treat me. If you don't want you and your family to become dog food. I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired. Anything he desired. You don't mean the supplier? That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings? Once a week, in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers, so I could move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it. Oh, So that's the true identity of the sweet scent. The scent of perfume was the signal for Dogan's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Dogan. Of course, this had to be done while Elbert was away from his cell. Oh, so Elbert wasn't in on this as well? Surprised he never found out about it, pal. We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Mealtime, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Dogan's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise. So, having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured there were no slip-ups. Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early morning, and the delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera. You have told us a great deal. The Goddess of Law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all. The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was... The police have been searching for Dogan's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him. So the reason you kept interrogating him... Yes, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the investigation myself. I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail. mail. Like his correspondent's chess letters. But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchman. His fear. Something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion. Is it really necessary to press her further than this? Is it necessary to press her further? I don't know. Let's see what else we can get. Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the goddess of law isn't satisfied yet either. You mean to badger this woman further? Even if she was threatened by Dogen. This doesn't prove she's not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body. Do you have any evidence to support this? The body gave off a sweet scent. The scent of perfume that was used to signify a delivery. Can you explain this fact? Oh, of course. Since I've made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved through the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Elbert also testified to this fact. That's it. For some reason, that well gave off a nice scent. A nice scent. I don't know what it was. It smelled sweet. Like candy. The lingering scent in the well would, of course, be picked up by anything passing through. The defense rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go? Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. And now, court is officially adjourned. Who is that? Oh, Ray? It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Courtney Pie. Mr. Shields? Are you objecting to the court adjourning? Of course not. I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn court. Do whatever you like. Hey, what are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whoa there, calm down, Kay. You want some chocolate? Is this a joke? You'll have to excuse me, I just have one tiny request to make. Is Simon Key's attorney? That's right, you're the defense attorney in charge of this case, aren't you? Exactly. Did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Mr. Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. Yes, that's right. That's why I thought I'd do my job a bit. Do your job? That hardly sounds like you at all. It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions. Surely you jest. What more would you want to hear from her? Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit. My thoughts? Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. It seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out. Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to? He's trying to lure Warden Roland into testifying. Why was the supply route used to transport the body? I'd say it was to pin the crime on Dogen. So maybe my theory's right. I see. If he committed a murder here, he would be transferred to another prison. One with tighter security. And that would get rid of the troublemaker. Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that. Hey, hold on a sec. A culprit besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute. Exactly. So wouldn't it be better if DeBest also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields. You managed to drag Mr. DeBest into this too. Warden Roland, is this acceptable? Oh, you, it's fine, it's fine. You understand a woman's heart. Thank you, mademoiselle. Actually, I've thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine, darling? Of course, you may speak. Mr. Shields, awesome! Whew, that was a close shave. Thank you, Mr. Shields. No, I'm still leaving the rest to you. Remember what I said. Defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders, after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up. Right. Well then, will you listen to my story? I believe the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. He probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case. The victim, Mr. Knightley, was it? I think it's a truly terrible thing. Taking a man's life, you mean? That's how you'd go about saying it, isn't it? If only I'd been more vigilant, his death would not have happened. That's why I want to clear up his regrets. Warden Roland, how considerate. I'm sure Mr. Knightley in heaven is overflowing with gratitude. Is gratitude really what Knightley feels? Very confident of that. How can you be so sure? The children of this home are all good little boys and girls. Believe in yourself, believe in your friends, and believe in me and the guards. There is no way any of these hardworking children could have committed a murder. Quite an emotional reason. Makes sense coming from someone like her. Only Dogen would be capable of something like that. Knightley was being held in the detention center, and Dogen was in the prison. They couldn't make any contact. Don't you think that would have prevented trouble? The prison is quite confined, right? There are many ways for them to meet. Knightley was murdered days before he would have been sentenced to prison. Surely there weren't many ways a meeting could have occurred. Even without a direct meeting, Dogen can still cause trouble. Mark my words.
Hold it!
What could Knightley have done in the detention center to displease him? That was just an example. You don't have to take it so seriously. Didn't I already say that I have no idea what transpired between them? Nevertheless, you certainly are a serious one, Edgeworth, dear. What's this? That piercing gaze. Always standing straight and stiff. Very nice. Looking very clever, my dear. I think I'm about to become your biggest fan. Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth, stay focused. It's just a flesh wound. Right. Is this some form of psychological warfare?
Hold it!
I'd like to hear your thoughts about the circumstances surrounding the murder. Well, I suppose it was a simple job. During his booking, I learned that the victim had some kind of injury to his neck. He couldn't turn his neck to the right. I remember him saying something like that. Booking. That's the process one undergoes before being locked up in the detention center. Sounds like you don't really know a lot about Knightley. I only know a little. In any case, he would have been an easy target for Dogen. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The victim wouldn't even have a chance to scream. I see. Your opinion will be a very valuable reference. Could you add those last statements to your testimony? Oh, you're making me blush. You're so cute. I'm just kidding. I'll continue. Wait, how do you know about that? Sure would have been a simple job. Probably had a dog dispose of the body.
Objection!
Warden Roland, you certainly are sharp-witted. Enough with the titles. Call me Patty. P-A-T-T-Y. However, there's something you were a little too knowledgeable about. Embarrassed? You're such an inexperienced child, Edgeworth, dear. Ugh. Fight on, Mr. Edgeworth. You said you didn't really know much about Knightley. If that's the case, how did you know about the chisel inside the chessboard? Of course, the entrance check.
Objection!
Then why wasn't it confiscated? Enough with the poor excuses. The entrance check? The chessboard wasn't something Knightley brought with him. It was brought to him later by Mr. Keyes. He didn't even have it when he arrived here. That's... my mistake. I meant the parcel check.
Objection!
Even if we assume that, there are still many suspicious points. Why wasn't such a chisel immediately confiscated? Judge Courtney, did you tell anyone about the trick to this chessboard? I did not. If no information about our investigation was leaked, then how did you find out? You couldn't have examined this during the entrance check or parcel check. Certainly, someone in the warden's position would never have let a chisel slip by. Exactly. So answer this, Warden Roland. When and how did you learn about the chessboard's secret? In that case, I shall answer for you. It's because... I give up, Edgeworth dear. It is as you say. Huh? I interrogated Knightley. That's how I learned about the chessboard. But please believe me, I didn't kill anyone. Enough. It would appear that we've uncovered some vital information. I ask you to testify once more, if that's all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Okay, we're getting into, hopefully, the final bit of this, so... I guess we're starting to uncover what really happened, so give me a few minutes and we'll finish this. Okay. Looks like we're about to... We're getting pretty close to finishing off this case. I'll ask her to testify once more, if that's all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. No objections here. Thank you, Edgeworth, dear. I'll do my best. Well then, Warden Roland, I trust there will be no lies from here on out. Her pool of lies is slowly running dry. Soon I'll bring out her true nature. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation. I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals. Mr. Knightley. Yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you. She's piling lies on top of lies, not realizing that it only tightens the noose around her neck. You speak with the new prisoners, you say? That's right. I'm glad you understand.
Objection!
Your testimony is not solid evidence. It requires more than just understanding. Well then, Prosecutor Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. Chat. Well,
Hold it!
how about we elaborate on this? And what was Knightley like during the interrogation? He was very honest. Mr. Knightley was... honest, pal! He also talked about a croissant and some kind of promo. Passant and chess piece promotions, I presume. Looks like he was his usual chess-loving self.
Hold it!
What did you talk about? What indeed? It was just trifling conversation. What kind of animals he liked, what his hobbies were, that sort of thing. Hobbies. I assume he mentioned chess. Oh yes, that's all Knightley would ever talk about. Now that I think about it, the note he had in his room. It probably had something to do with chess too. So Warden Roland saw Knightley's note. Chats with the criminals? The warden sure is easygoing, sir. Easygoing? She killed one of the criminals, you know. Since the guy was handcuffed, it would have been a pretty one-sided affair. Warden Roland has to be the killer. I have faith in my reasoning so far. Back to his cell.
Hold it!
If he really returned to his cell, there's no way he'd be a corpse now. I know you're suggesting that I killed him during the interrogation, but... I couldn't possibly have had a motive to kill Knightley, could I? Dogen was the only one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. Yes, but we're thinking maybe she was trying to frame him. Please add that statement to your testimony. Ah.
Objection!
But we know by now there was a connection. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to have a look at this. Looks like a record of a chess game. Is there something wrong with it? This was discovered in the victim's cell. It was Knightley's memo. Warden Roland, you also discovered this note in the very same place. And not just in Knightley's cell, but in Dogen's too, correct? What are you...
Objection!
Don't say that you don't know about the chessboard in the special cell. After all, you would have kept an eye on Dogen's actions, down to the smallest details. So she must have picked up on the connection too. No, to be more precise, it wasn't Dogen that you needed to keep an eye on. The warden was searching for Mr. Dogen's henchman. From the start, I found it strange that the warden interrogated the prisoners personally, since he used his henchmen to threaten harm to her family. Warden Roland interrogated Dogen to expose them. So what are you saying? As you inspected Dogen's mail, you must have known that he played correspondence chess. And then Knightley appeared, with a chess memo in hand. We deduced that he and Dogen were connected. You must have arrived at the same conclusion as well. So would that be why she chose him then? However, you went one step too far in your reasoning. You thought Knightley was one of Dogen's henchmen who had come to kill you. Oh. So that's why you interrogated Knightley Boy. If the boss wouldn't crack, go after his henchmen. In addition, you discovered something when you were interrogating him. Inside his chessboard, you found a portable chisel. The murder weapon. Oh, I see. She did assume that he was one of Dogen's henchmen that had come to kill her. You believe Knightley was one of Dogen's henchmen and you killed him. It seems there will be no rebuttal, Judge Courtney. Your verdict. So is this purely a case of mistaken identity? Though it is incredibly unfortunate, it seems to be no room for doubt. I shall announce my verdict. For the murder of Horace Knightley, twice my sacred verdict has been interrupted. Who was that? Uh-oh. Oh, how strange. You guys really don't understand anything. It would seem the one who doesn't understand is you. Me? Oh, I understand one thing very well. There is a huge contradiction in your logic, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, that Mink just going apeshit. When she's cornered, she starts spouting nonsense. Pay it no heed, Judge Courtney. Your verdict.
Overruled!
I am interested in hearing what the warden has to say. What? I thought so. I just have one thing I want to say. One? Please take a good look at the autopsy report. The autopsy report, the one I brought with me. I heard exactly what you said earlier, Justine, darling. You said the wound was 4 inches deep. 4 inches? No way. Could that tiny chisel have really made a wound 4 inches deep? Well, I don't know. How big was the chisel? Did we get like a... Oh yeah, there's also the matter of the bell. Of which there are only 2 in existence. The other one is on the dog's collar. Where did the bell... Did she have the other bell? and attached it to the chisel to again make the connection to Dogen. Impossible! Then that wasn't the murder weapon, though? How could I have made such an error? Oh, forgive me, Goddess of Law. Well, I believe that overturns your hypothesis. What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth? What do we do? It'll be alright, pal. Mr. Edgeworth always... Whoa, hey now, he's gone all white. Hey, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? Isn't there something you can do, pal? Do that turnabout thing. Make some earth-shattering objection. Uncle Ray's a hard worker, but without decisive evidence, we're just whipping a dead horse here. Does that mean it's hopeless? The true killer is Warden Roland. If it's not her, then nothing that's happened fits. But the chisel isn't the murder weapon. Are there any other sharp objects here? It wouldn't be one of those forks, would it? Sharp metal object 4 inches long. This bell, it's the same as the one that's attached to Anubis's collar. Yes, it's the Assassin Dogen's trademark. Assassin with a trademark. What an odd combination. Don't you think it's similar to the great thief Yatagarasu? Mr. Edgeworth, you don't understand anything. A great thief has to stand out. Why would a thief want to stand out? The knife has been confiscated, but... Okay. There are still many mysteries remaining in this case. However, we do not have the evidence to solve them at this present time. We have no choice but to continue this battle in the courtroom.
Objection!
Oh. That would just give the killer a chance to destroy evidence. Are you mocking the court? No, I didn't mean anything like that. You look perplexed, Miles. Thought of anything yet? The chisel is not the murder weapon. In that case, what is? It's no use. We're back where we started. No objections, Prosecutor Edgeworth. By the way, any baseless statements will be punished accordingly. It's no good. I can't think of anything. I need more time. I regret... Huh? Now what? No, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what Mr. Shields said. If we give up, Simon will... Have you forgotten that sad look on his face? He was the one who suffered most from Knightley's death. If we can't save him, who will? Besides, Simon believes in us. So we can't give up. Okay. Miles, looks like you found a good partner. It's like Lil K says. Whenever you're backed into a corner, think of your client. Keep fighting till the very end. Isn't that the feeling you're getting? Gregory, your old man. No matter what trouble he faced, he would always turn things around and save his client. You've got his blood in you, right? In that case, you're the only one who can turn this around. Judge Courtney. The look in your eyes has suddenly changed. If you do intend to speak, you'd better be prepared to face the consequences. Your logic thus far has been misplaced numerous times. If this were to happen again, I will consider you unfit to call yourself a prosecutor. And you will hand over your badge. That's right. My reasoning about this case has indeed been misplaced numerous times. Have I made a grave miscalculation? Wait. My logic is misplaced. Still silent. I cannot condone this waste of time. Well then. Mr. Edgeworth! Mr. Edgeworth? I will announce my verdict. That's it. I have to turn my logic around. My logic isn't misplaced. It's been misled.
Objection!
Isn't it a little early to hand down a verdict? I actually think it's rather late. Don't you agree, Justine, darling? Enlighten us. What? Try to remember. The eyewitness account about his dog, and his absence from the animal show. When I first heard that information, my suspicion immediately fell on Dogan. I'm amazed you take such pride in retelling your previous failings.
Hold it!
But was that not the killer's aim? What if we assume that was their intention from the start? Of course, the chisels serve the same purpose. Knightley's body was stabbed in the same spot with multiple sharp objects. This shows that he was stabbed with a chisel after the real murder weapon was removed. Right. By soaking the chisel in Knightley's blood, the killer wanted to mislead us into thinking the chisel was the murder weapon. Why? That's because... Why did the killer want us to think the chisel was the murder weapon? To get Dogan expelled. Gordon Rowland, you made use of this chisel's image. chisel's image? What are you trying to say?
Hold it.
Mr. DeBest, when you see this chisel, what does it suggest to you? Huh? Something like, Dogen is the killer, right? Now do you understand? That was the Warden's aim. Ah, she wanted us to suspect the person with the chisels. Indeed, that was her plan from the very beginning. To make Sirhan Dogen out to be the killer. I understand your logic. It is true the Warden did not think kindly of Dogen. But you understand, don't you? This alone does not prove she's the killer. As I thought, it's not enough. The remaining chance is for me to find the real murder weapon. If you have no more evidence, I believe this conversation is over.
Objection.
I could prove it if I found the real murder weapon.
Objection.
It doesn't matter what you say, we did a clean sweep of this place. It is as Sebastian says. In the end, we cannot find any weapons. In other words, such proof is impossible.
Objection.
No, the murder weapon must still be somewhere in the prison. As long as this exists. The security gate? You remember its name after all. Are you mocking me? It's because of those things that you can't take metal objects in or out of this place. Caught on. Right. As long as those security gates exist, the murder weapon should still be here. That also means no weapon could have been brought into the prison. But what if it were here from the start? In the end, we're back to that same mystery after all. Judge Courtney, Prosecutor Edgeworth, surely you've realized, if the real murder weapon is still in the prison, one must also consider how it got there in the first place. The chisel was concealed within the chessboard, but the chisel is not the real murder weapon. Which means the real murder weapon must have been smuggled in somehow. The way it was smuggled in, can you prove that? How Warden Roland brought the weapon into the prison? You had evidence transferred from the precinct. Yes, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogen. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but all the evidence, would that include his knife? That's it. She could have used that. This shows another way a weapon could be brought into the prison.
Take that.
That has to be it. Yesterday Dogen said this. Yes, my bells. Oh, that must be how she got the other bell, too. There are only 2 in the world. Only 2? They're custom-made, attached to my knife and Anubis's collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. Alas, one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. It's possible the murder weapon was brought in as confiscated evidence. What? Dogen's knife was confiscated and stored on the premises. Furthermore, a bell was attached to the knife. Can't be. The bell on that chisel. Exactly. The killer took it from the knife and reattached it to the chisel. But the only fingerprints on this chisel are Knightley's. The killer probably wore gloves when they made the switch. She made the chisel out to be the murder weapon by attaching Dogen's bell. And in doing so, made Dogen appear to be the culprit. Furthermore, the handling of the set of evidence that this bell originally belonged to was only possible for someone with the proper authority. Who, sir? Who had that authority? Why don't we ask the warden what she thinks? You can find bells anywhere. Anyone could have attached it, right?
Objection!
I see. So you don't know. These bells are Dogen's trademark. There are only 2 in the world. What? What? And so attaching the bell would naturally make you the killer. Do you have evidence that I attached the knife? You don't, do you?
Hold it!
Of course, I understand. In that case, Mr. DeBest, I'd like to request an investigation immediately. But if you find it would be problematic for me. That doesn't matter now. It's necessary that we reveal the truth. You're a prosecutor, are you not? Well, even if you say that... Curse this useless prosecutor. If only I still had investigative rights. Besides, we can't investigate without the warden's permission, right? There's no way she would approve. We have no choice but to investigate ourselves. If you don't have evidence, there's no use in continuing this conversation. The goddess of law does not smile upon those with no evidence. This will have to be continued in the courtroom. Not good. If we give the warden more time here, she'll definitely destroy the evidence. Seems like I have no choice but to raise an objection and stall for time. But I don't have anything definite. Is that really acceptable? Is it really like me to do something this reckless? No, not good. Now's not the time for hesitation. Right now I'm not a prosecutor, but I'm an attorney's assistant. I need to protect my client. The only one who can save him now. In that case... Even if it's a 1 in a million chance, I have to take it. Sink or swim. Should I raise an objection? I think there is one thing. Okay. Almost feels like I've turned into a certain bluffing defense attorney. But right now I can't come to a standstill here.
Objection!
Hold it. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what now? I just realized something. What would that be? Pray tell. Naturally, the whereabouts of the real murder weapon. Dogen's knife. Mr. Edgeworth, is that really true? Yes. Though it's a lie. I find that hard to believe. This isn't a bluff, is it? You underestimate me. The word bluff doesn't exist in my dictionary. This is bad for my heart. There's no way you could know, because such a thing doesn't even exist. Well then, could you enlighten us? Where is the real murder weapon? Think. Somewhere the police didn't look. A blind spot in this animal-filled prison. A hiding place the warden would have complete confidence in. Hiding place. Come to think of it. It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. The same method? No, it couldn't be, could it? Okay. But there aren't that many ways to hide things from an investigator's eyes. Prosecutor Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting? It's possible, but I'm taking a big gamble here. The real murder weapon.
Take that!
The alligator. We detected something metallic inside it. And it seemed kind of ill. Here in the courtyard? Indeed. That's not enough information. Please show us in more detail.
Take that!
That's it. Back then. Huh? What's the matter, Detective? It looks like the metal detector's reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Of course. That's why the metal detector reacted. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to take a look at this. The chisel? Wasn't that just the fake murder weapon? Dogen hid this chisel inside his dog's mouth. And the real murder weapon was hidden very much the same way. Looking nervous. The real murder weapon is in the pond, inside the alligator. What? What? We can confirm that the metal detector reacted to the alligator. Judge Courtney, please have the insides of the alligator examined. We're not gonna hack it open, are we? I give my consent. We'll have to call a veterinarian. I can make that little girl open her mouth. Can I help? Yes, go ahead. Warden Roland. Discovering the real murder weapon will settle this matter once and for all. Why don't you do the honorable thing and confess now? What would I have to confess? In that case, you can just wait for your fate to be sealed. Yeah. Ah, we found it, sir! Just where you said it would be. It's over. Patricia Rowland, the real murder weapon is none other than Dogen's knife. And the one who murdered Horace Knightley can only be you. Dogen was the evil one. I didn't do anything wrong. I was completely reasonable. That guy was one of Dogen's henchmen. Him! If only he had never come to my home. I could at least still be happy. My special paradise. He ruined it. All of it. Him! That no-good assassin! Him! Him! Shit. I mean, if what she said is true about... Holy crap! Mr. the best of the best, we have the results. The best of the best? Looks like even the forensics officers have it tough. We found traces of Knightley's blood on Dogen's knife. Okay, I guess that clinches it. It was just like you said. You're the best, Mr. DeBest. Oh, for fuck's... Is he gonna take credit for this? Alright, good job, but don't stop there. Keep the praise coming. Somebody kick his ass. Yes, sir. You're so incredible. It brings tears to my eyes. From sorrow. Well done, Sebastian. Next comes the follow-up investigation. Huh? What are you talking about, Justine? Hasn't the case been solved already? We haven't yet confirmed if Knightley truly was one of Dogen's henchmen. There is also a chance that Warden Roland jumped to conclusions. Yeah, I mean, if what she says is true about Dogen threatening her and her family, she is kind of sympathetic in that regard. Oh? That's the remaining uncertainty in this case. Anyways, let's keep investigating. Hey, you there, come with me. Since I'm the best, the truth will appear before me first. When that moment arrives, make sure you don't miss it. Yes, sir, I'm looking forward to witnessing your first-rate ability. Let's go! We live in troubling times, wouldn't you agree? The would-be assassin of the president was found murdered in the prison. Knightley had not planned to assassinate the president. The truth is not as vital as you seem to believe it to be. Not to the world, and not to the law. That can't be right. Believe what you will. However, as long as Prosecutor Edgeworth remains a prosecutor, it is an inescapable reality. A prosecutor is not someone who demands a guilty verdict. That's what I believe. Yeah. Gotta say, considering his attitude back from the very first game, Edgeworth has had quite a lot of character development between then and here. Those are not merely your values. Those are merely your values. The law is not the plaything of any one person. If you will not submit to that, you will do well to prepare for the consequences. What's that supposed to mean, pal? Don't tell me you're gonna... Now then, this is where I must take my leave. Prosecutor Edgeworth. Judge Courtney is right. The law should not serve any one person's desires. However, if the truth is bent as a result of that, can that really be called justice? Oh, there's Simon. Ah, Simon! Boss! What happened? They said you come out already. Oh, well, honestly, I don't know for sure. All of a sudden, they were like, you're free to go, and you should thank Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that's because he found out who the real murderer was. Really? He did? Mr. Edgeworth? Oh. No way, no way, no way, no way. Even if you glare at me like that, it's useless. I'm innocent after all. You can't make me guilty. Simon. You should thank him, you know. You're right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, too. Good grief. Mr. Defense Attorney? Can I ask you just one more question? Yes, you may. But I'm not a defense attorney. I thought that Knightley and I were friends. No, I mean best friends. I always thought we were. You don't think so anymore? Well, I'm just wondering. There were some things I had no idea about. Like how he could hate someone enough to kill them. That's why maybe he never trusted me either. Simon, that's not true. You're lying, because if I'd known, I could have stopped him. I would have told him he had no need to be angry with anyone. Mr. Keyes, I don't think he disliked you either. Let's show him proof that Knightley trusted him. Oh, the chessboard, right?
Take that!
That's what I gave to... Knightley hid a chisel inside it. Most likely to aid in his escape. Escape? He used me? He trusted in you. He knew you'd bring it to him without looking into it, and without question. And in doing just that, you were caught up in everything. Knightley, you idiot! Looks like he gets it. Simon's not as dumb as he looks after all. You didn't have to word it that way, Regina. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Was that supposed to be a compliment? I'll be strong. I'll become a splendid wild animal tamer for Knightley's sake. Excellent. That's the spirit. I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show. Oh, there's Max on there. I'll also be performing in it. The Very Big Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages. Wow, that sounds like fun. Let's go, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I'll think about it. Is the next case gonna involve the circus again like the second game? Well, we need to get back to practicing right away. You'll be with Regent today. What? The tiger? No way, no way, no way, no way. It'll be fine. He's a good boy. No way. There's no way it'll be fine. Please cut me a break, boss! And there they go. But man, bravo, bravo. You really put on a good show today, Miles. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shields. Without your help, she might have gotten away. Not to mention allowing us to continue the investigation. Oh man, cut it out already. You're gonna make me blush. I never know when you're being serious. Uncle Ray's always serious. So how was it, Miles? How'd it feel to be a defense attorney? To save people? A defense attorney? But that really took me back. It was just like being next to your old man again. It's been a while since I felt this good. It was, well, it's somewhat difficult to say it was a good thing. Come on, Miles. Are you sure you don't want to be a defense attorney? What? You know, pick up where your father left off. Don't you want Don't you want to save people like he did? What are you talking about, pal? Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecutor. But is it really that unusual for a prosecutor to become a defense attorney these days? Unusual isn't the problem here. Hey, don't be so upset. It's normal, you know. Normal. It's not. Normal, pal. You don't make for a powerful defense team. Mr. Shields, I'm a prosecutor. And Uncle Ray's a defense attorney. That's why... I'm being serious about this. Well, that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop by anytime if you have a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Follow in my father's footsteps. Me become a defense attorney? Who is he? I'm gonna become a defense attorney, just like my dad. Should I become a defense attorney, like my father? Damn. If he does, that would be a heck of a... I already said just a little bit ago how much character development Edgeworth's gotten between the first Ace Attorney game and here. It's really a damn shame that this game didn't get an official international release. We might get it in the future if they're like they've recently re-released the original Ace Attorney trilogy. Again, hoping we'll see compilations of later ones too. So, and they did eventually give us the Great Ace Attorney, which again, first time around, did not get an official international release. Now we do have it over here, so there's still hope. But looking forward to seeing where episode 3 takes us. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. Tomorrow I will be I plan on turning back to Chrono Trigger and making more progress on that. So everybody, thank you for watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.